Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me for Faithful Fridays. What a blessing it is to be alive and well and here to talk to you on this amazing Friday. What a week it has been, full of lessons, blessings, and yes, even tests. The weather this week has been simply phenomenal. Today we're trending in the high 50s, so enjoy it in the best way possible. This week for me was all about staying engaged, not losing focus, and staying committed and disciplined to those things that I promised myself that I would do. For me, it was being committed to the gym. I talked about it on Sunday. Me and Mr. Guy had got out and we ate really good. But one thing that I have been good about is making sure that I'm staying committed to the gym. Another commitment for me was practicing self-control because no one is in control of my response but me. There was times this week I had to hush, I had to get silent, and even walk away. Because the worst thing that any of us can do is continue to give our control away through the way that we choose to respond. I continue to command my morning. I continue to make declarations over those things that I wanted to choosing things like, joy over depression, diligence over laziness, focus over distraction, peace and harmony over conflict and war, giving over receiving, and most importantly, faith over disbelief. I had to repeat these things throughout the day and remind myself this is what I'm choosing so that I would not forget what I had promised myself that I would do. While doing some studies on this week, I had to remind myself that I cannot allow my mind to become overwhelmed because of what I see in the natural, especially when I know that I've got God that has my back. I have to continue to gain a greater perspective of my life and remember, even as I reflect back on times of where I've been and where I'm at now, I have to realize how far that I've come. I refuse to, entertain condemnation for the mistakes of the past. Everything, and I do mean everything, has served to teach us and bring us into spiritual maturity. Just remember, God can take even our worst mistakes and somehow bring good from them. I'm talking about good. When you think back over your life sometime and just realize what you were protected from, you know that God was working on your behalf. I was so happy for the disconnect on last week. Even as I was out and about, there were so many people that were complaining about the extra hour that we received, and I just couldn't get it. The extra hour for me, it was great. The extra hour happens very rare. Very rare. And it gave us a time to catch up, rest, get some housework done. It was an extra hour to just really get it together. How often do we get 25 hours in one day? And how many times have you heard someone say, if I could just turn back the hands of time? And this past Sunday, we were able to do just that. And for me, it was just the manner of how you looked at it, Now, the turning back of time made the week for me just simply phenomenal. It really did. Why? Because I had found myself for months promising that I was going to get up earlier and, get some things done. Oh, I'm going to be up by 5 or 6 a.m. And I just couldn't seem to get it together. That's just in total honesty. I just couldn't seem to get it together to rise earlier than what I was rising. But for this week, it was no issue. Why? Because the extra hour had me waking up at the time that I had originally promised myself, which was an hour earlier. Talk about your goals just aligning, y'all. God just has a way to make us laugh. I had more than enough time to study and tune into quite a few online sermons and stay fed and filled up throughout the week. I listened to Pastor Mike. He always leaves me on full where he touched on, checking our blind spots and shifting our mindsets so that we can shift our blessings. He reminded me that whenever God places something in our life, it's going to require a shift. Getting married. You're not single anymore. It's going to require a shift. Having children, it's going to require you to balance your time a little bit better. Starting a new job, you're going to have to learn some new things. It's going to require a shift. Starting a new business, you may have to connect with other people that have been in business or those that have done it before you to get some insight on how to do it at your best ability. Deciding to work out, that's going to require a shift because you're going to have to place that time within your day to work out. If you're wanting to save some money, it's going to require a shift of you stop from spending so much money. And if you're wanting to get closer to God, it's going to require a shift or you to spend some time in his word. By the time the week came to a close, I was, in full blown awareness that I was born in a generation to contribute something significant. I really was. I'm not here by accident, and nor are you. We have been placed here to fulfill a purpose. You cannot allow anything, and I do mean anything, to stop you from walking in the fullness of what you've been called to be. You have to continue to choose courage over fear. You got to continue to choose progress over stagnation. You got to continue to choose prosperity over poverty. We have to break generational curses. Don't be anxious of what's in front of you or what you might have to face in the future. You have today to do the best that you can and to live a life that is good and honest and it glorifies the kingdom. I'm grateful to be reminded, even from Pastor Darius Daniels, he had a message this week that talked about it's above me now. And he reminded me of just because it's not hurting you doesn't mean it's not hurting you. And for me, I had to really think about that. So many times we're doing things and we feel like, well, it's not hurting anyone else and I don't feel any pain from it, so it's not hurting me, but it is really hurting you. In the long run, it's going to hurt you. It hurts to even waste time. It may not hurt you now, but in the long run, when you look back over your life and realize some of those things that you wanted to accomplish and you didn't, it really does hurt you. One of the message just tore me up. We have to stop being also apologetic, or we have to be unapologetic when it comes to us being being in a place in our life where we have to make a choice. It's not for others to understand. God shows you things sometimes that he didn't show everybody else. And so when there's some things you need to cut or get rid of or separate yourself from, just do it because you know what God has showed you. Now, as we close out the week and we prepare for our disconnect, remember, we must not be limited by the thinking of the world around us. And I think we talked about that a little bit on last week. God has more and he's anxious to release it into the earth, but it can only happen through his body. And that's the body of Christ. If it's going to happen, then it's going to come through us. And it's going to only come through us if we understand how to pray, read his word, and hear from heaven in revolutionary ways. You hear people say all the time, it dropped in their spirit. That's God talking to you, telling you, showing you what he has purposed over your life and how he wants you to fulfill it. Ask yourself, are you trying to win the approval of people or God? Are you trying to please people? If you keep trying to please people, you're going to lose your peace. And you're going to disregard your boundaries. And don't ask me how I know. Just know I know because I've been there and I've done that. And that's why I've been so stern about 2023. Just being it's a firm no and a slow yes. I got to think about it. I got to think if I give away my time, am I even in a position to be able to give away my time? Should I be attending? Is this a place that I need to be? Should I be connecting? Is this a resource that I really need to have? Should I be spending on this? Should I allow myself to respond to this in this manner? We're in a season where we got to get a mind of our own. It's okay to be inspired, but we can't get lost in allowing our thoughts to be controlled for the fear of looking foolish. Standing in our own, we have to stand on our own thoughts. Sometimes we're called to be set apart, and it's okay. Everybody's not going to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's not for them to understand. That's it, y'all. It's the disconnect. I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. It's going to be nice. It's going to be real nice. So do something that your future self will thank you for. Then want to close out the video and shout out Kim Corals for my jewels. She makes some phenomenal crochet products. And she always hooks me up. And I tell her, I'm going to make sure I market it. And so wanted to shout her out for the hoops or the jewels on today. There's a few ladies in the community that I love buying jewels from them. I have to, put my wallet away if I see them because they know they're going to get me. But anywho, I hope everyone has a great disconnect. You know the drill. I'll see you all next week. Until then, let your light shine. I don't care how nobody feels about it. Let your light shine. Your transparency is leading to so many others being transformed. I see things online all the time that inspire me. And these individuals probably don't even know they're inspiring me. Some of them, I jump in their comments and I just tell them, you inspired me. Because that's what sometimes we as women need to do. We just need to inspire each other. We need to keep each other going. We need to keep the love circulating and all that good stuff. But you know the drill. I'll see you all next week. Have a phenomenal weekend. This has been your girl, Seven.